Akademiks can't ride no wave.
Is always the thing that's driving sports, and especially now with the NBA. The NBA is very bad. I think ESPN is pretty horrible. If you watch ESPN, they got lines going underneath the bottom. Shout out to Pat McAfee. I'm glad for all of his success. But if you watch Pat McAfee, essentially, that's a gambling show. They're talking lines. It's like a Vegas insider show. So, they're trying to like convert it to the regular sports fans, but you've realized that these days, and I don't know how it plays out in the ratings, shit, I'll tune into a game only if I got money up. So now it's really turned into a gambling league. So I'm not that surprised when I see the players doing it. It's only so much. I met this player while, he was waiting outside YB's locker room the other day. Plays for the Eagles. And the first, they just won the championship. The first thing we talked about was parlays. So gambling, I believe, is completely changed the spirit of what sports is. I'm not saying gambling hasn't always existed when it comes to sports, but these days it seems like the main focus. Niggas will show up to the game just to hope they put in a player prop gets the over. You get what I'm saying? And they'll heckle those people. They send DMs. And I think ESPN and also the league kind of accepting it. It just makes it where it's natural for the players to be doing some fuck shit. All right. Now, if you guys are saying, what am I talking about? And welcome to everybody who's joining in on King Akademiks and also on the Academy. It was announced by the FBI Director, Kash Patel, that there is a sweeping indictment that involves a bunch of former NBA players and coaches, but also including and up to the Mafia, La Cosa Nostra, okay? And essentially, they basically claim that all these people were into illegal gambling. And it wasn't just betting on games. And, obviously, it is particularly barred that if you play a professional sport, you can't bet on said professional sport. So not only that, but apparently some of these guys, and I got to imagine they knew this was coming because some of them were running illegal poker games. And by the way, a lot of like rich black dudes play poker, but they were setting shit up where niggas had contact lenses that could see through cards. They had this shit like next level. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, let me play what Kash Patel said, and I'll try to speed through it because I know he could probably be a little bit long-winded. Damn, it was 36 minutes. Jesus Christ. Let's get straight to it.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Joseph Nocella. I am the United States Attorney for the Eastern District of New York. I'd like to welcome you here today. In addition, we have with us today FBI Director Kash Patel, FBI Assistant Director in Charge Christopher Rea of the New York Field Office, Special Agent in Charge of the New York Field Office Leslie Bakshi's, New York Special Agent in Charge of Homeland Security Ricky Patel, Newark Special Agent in Charge of Homeland Security Michael McCarty, Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenny, and the Executive Director of the Waterfront Commission, Phoebe Sorrell. I'm now going to turn the podium over to FBI Director Kash Patel.
Good morning. Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Cosa Nostra. The men and women up here.
Now, we got to keep it a bean, right? Shout out to Kash Patel, right? I like him. I think he's a funny guy. You know what I realized about Kash Patel? He gonna lock up every sports betting gambler, jaywalker, shoplifter. He'll lock up everybody but them niggas on the Epstein list. We got to keep it a bean, okay? He got no interest in that. He's like, yo, find me a crime, and we'll go find that person who did that crime. And they're like, yo, what about this crime right here? What y'all talking about? I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know what y'all talking about. Epstein what? What Epstein you talking about? So that's his thing. And I would imagine for the rest of the time that he's the FBI director, he's going to announce mad indictments, just none that got to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
Standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry
Now,
Rozier
Chauncey Billups is a NBA champion, I believe. He used to play for the Detroit Pistons. He won a championship with them.
were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear
Except for the niggas on the Epstein list, man.
a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. The men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars.
How much is it?
It's not tens of thousands of
What?
dollars. It's not even millions of dollars.
How much?
We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation. And we could not have done it without our interagency partners that are before us today. The NYPD, HSI, and teams of law enforcement officials from around the country made this day possible. It takes a team to bring this kind of justice, sweeping justice, into the halls of the United States courtrooms, where our brave United States attorney has
All right, man. Get to the facts.
bring you accountability. And yes, they will have their
And you can bet on that. Fraudulent bets, mostly in the form of prop bets on
Okay, so let's listen to some of this, illegal gambling and some of the other stuff that they supposedly caught as crime.
would pull themselves out early.
Here we hear it.
Blaster, Damon Jones, a former NBA player and coach, and Terry Rozier, a current NBA player.
So Terry Rozier, what's his salary like? I think he's getting good money. Why is he doing shit like this?
Other co-conspirators were previously charged for their roles in the scheme, including former NBA player Jonte Porter. Between December 2020...
Yo, chat, we got to keep it a bean, man. Y'all think Gilbert cleaned the streets up, or y'all? I don't know. Y'all think Gilbert dropped a dime on these niggas? Yo, Gilbert might have dropped a dime on them, man. They did catch Gilbert for some illegal poker shit. Nah, I don't think. Gilbert a real nigga. He wouldn't do that. I fuck with Gilbert. He wouldn't do that shit.
2022 and March 2024, these defendants perpetrated a scheme to defraud.
Wait, Terry Rozier has 12 baby mamas? Yeah, it's time to do some illegal gambling when you got that type of situation. 12. No way he got 12 baby mamas. Oh, the rumor is false. Oh, my God. I was about to say. If he had 12... Yo, a nigga got 12 baby mamas, you got to work. Yo, you know I always said? Yo, that nigga Youngboy drop an album like every 45 days. Yo, we got a lot of baby mamas, man. You can't just stop working.
By betting on inside, non-public information about NBA athletes and teams. The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games, or when they would pull themselves out early for purported injuries or illnesses. They relied on corrupt individuals, including Jones and Rozier. They also misused information obtained through long-standing friendships that they had with NBA players and coaches. And in at least one instance, they got their information by threatening a current player, Porter, because of his pre-existing gambling debts. Defendants used this non-public information to place hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraudulent bets, mostly in the form of prop bets on individual player performance.
Yo, FanDuel and DraftKings, man. See y'all niggas in court. See y'all bitch ass niggas in court, man. You know, a nigga been losing. I've been losing my parlays while these niggas is rigging this shit, and I can't get my money back. Yo, FanDuel, DraftKings, see you bitch ass niggas in court. Chat, we got to start a class action lawsuit. If you have lost a parlay, a 12-leg parlay, cause a whole ass nigga didn't get the last rebound, or you know he had an open shot. Come on, the league is rigged. I used to say the league wasn't rigged, but this is clearly. It's hard for me to make the point that it's not rigged. Now, obviously, people would say it's rigged by the NBA, like the association, the league office. I don't think so, but I do believe it's rigged to accommodate outcomes that would favor some people making money.
The bets were placed through online sports books and also in person at casinos. The defendants relied on a network of straw bettors to place the maximum amount of bets to increase their potential profits. Most of these bets succeeded, and the intended losses were in the millions of dollars. The defendants then laundered their illegal winnings in various ways: peer-to-peer platforms, bank wires, and simple cash exchanges. The indictment details specific examples where the defendants profited from illegal gambling and illegal betting on various NBA games about the performance of players on, among other things, the Charlotte Hornets, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Chat, and I hate to pause it all the time, but listen, one thing I realize about America, it's a few things that you realize the haves, because it's always the haves versus the have-nots. They want a monopoly on, right? Like, even when it comes to the idea of weed. Like, eventually weed gonna get legalized in most places. This is just about who makes the money, right? If you're making the money, it's highly illegal. If it goes to subsidize the state, and then there's a couple big wig guys that get their bids in first for the dispensaries, oh, it's legal now. You get what I'm saying? It's all good when, it's the casinos robbing you blind. But it's bad when, you got mad money and you got millionaire friends and you just invite them over to your house and you taking a rake. So it's really all about who makes money. And that's a lot of what crime is in America. The idea of legality is just about who gets to profit off what action. If you want to profit off of it, it's illegal. If the government and the rich people who end up being these guys who are donors to these politicians profit off of it, oh, it's legal. Ain't that interesting?
And the Toronto Rangers. Each defendant in the NBA basketball gambling case has been charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Now, I would like to turn to the other case, United States versus Aiello, the rigged poker game case.
Now, this
Beginning
is
as early as 2019, the defendants in this case orchestrated a scheme to use wireless cheating technology to run rigged poker games across the United States, including in the Hamptons, Las Vegas, Miami, and Manhattan. The scheme targeted victims known as, quote, fish, who were often lured to participate in these rigged games by the chance to play alongside former professional athletes who were known as, quote, face cards. The so-called face cards included the defendant Chauncey Billups, who at the time of the scheme was a former NBA player and is currently the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, and also Damon Jones, a former NBA player and coach. What the victims, the fish, didn't know is that everybody else at the poker game, from the dealer to the players, including the face cards, were in on the scam.
Niggas say including the face. Oh, the face cards are like people like Chauncey Billups. I wonder what Chauncey gets out of this. Chauncey Billups' career earnings. How much money has he made? I know he's made a good amount of money as a player. How much he made as a player? Let's see. Wait. What the fuck is this? Come on. Let me refresh. Career earnings. Here we go. He's made $106 million, and this is just as a player. What's his career earnings as a coach? By the way, he was an NBA champion, NBA second team player, and a third team player twice. I don't know if you guys can see it over here. Wow. So he's probably made, I don't know how long he's been a coach, but he's made $106 million. Probably made like 120, right? Do you think he ran through that money? There's no way he ran through the goddamn cash that quick, right?
Once the game was underway.
Because I got to think, these are tactics. Let me tell you this. I will say this. When you're a basketball player or even really an entrepreneur, successful person, the reason why gambling is attractive to you is because competition and that rush and risk are all associated. To be an entrepreneur requires you to understand and embrace risk. That's why, let me not get that. But so usually people who are entrepreneurs or people who then make a lot of money, they are attracted to things like gambling, right? But it's usually, hey, no, like at that point, you're not saying I'm gambling to get rich. You're gambling really for that rush, that dopamine. Of course, you want to make money. This shit right here is just flat out cheating, right? Because they're describing a poker game where these motherfuckers got, like, you think this is like the movie Superman. They got X-ray contacts. Which, by the way, the first thing when I thought about when I seen this, I said, what the fuck? They got X-ray contacts? Oh, hell nah. I'd be a menace out here with some X-ray contacts. Nigga, that's some Elon Musk shit. Let that nigga out of jail and just release it to Amazon and I could buy the X-ray contacts. Chat, what would you do if you had some X-ray contacts? Keep it on it. You walking around, you seen under all the hoes' clothes. Is that like abuse? I don't know. You know what the best superpower would be? If you could it would be time travel, right? Definitely time travel. Because I'd win the lottery like 50 times. I'd win the lottery. You know, they'd be like, yo, the lottery is at $3 billion. I'll just wait till the day when nobody hits and go back to the day before and then hit it. And I'm back. I'll be blowing money fast. Yo, they had X-ray. Y'all think I'm trolling. Y'all think I'm trolling. I'm serious. X-ray contacts, gang. Here we go. Listen to this shit right here, chat. I think that dude's going to talk about it, but let's get to it a little bit quicker on this clip right here. X-ray fucking contacts. I can't fucking believe it, bro. That's some good technology. Hold on. Here we go.
Today, ABC News Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky. Aaron, thank you so much for staying with us here on NBA Today. What more can you tell us about what Chauncey Billups is being accused of?
Yeah, Sinead, Chauncey Billups, according to federal prosecutors, was the lure, the mafia allegedly paying him for his celebrity to attract high rollers to poker tables in the Hamptons, in Las Vegas, in Miami, and right here in Manhattan, so they would gamble, so they would play poker. What those people didn't know was that everyone else at the table was in on the scam because the games were rigged. Chauncey Billups was known as a face card because the mafia allegedly used his face to lure in these unsuspecting victims. The victims themselves were called fish, as the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York explained in Brooklyn a short while ago.
The scheme targeted victims known as, quote, Aaron.
Oh, here we go.
X-ray.
Here we go.
These rigged poker games have been going on, prosecutors say, since at least 2019, and it involved these altered shuffling decks, X-ray poker tables that could read cards that were face down. There were special glasses and contact lenses that enabled players in on the scam to know what the victims' cards were.
Now, chat, let me say this. And this is something I sadly have to admit by myself. because I'm one of them niggas on Netflix. I love watching Money Heist. I always say I hate dumb criminals. I don't necessarily hate all criminals, especially when it's crime against, let's say like institutions or, as long as you're not robbing somebody's purse or like doing violence. If you go rob a bank, I hate you if you go in there and shoot everybody and do whatever. But if you have a sophisticated way of finessing, I kind of respect it. I like Money Heist. I root for those type of guys. I like the smart criminals. I can't even lie. Dumb criminals, I got to clown. When you think about these motherfuckers have gotten so sophisticated, they have just rigged everything. I ain't gonna lie. I would kind of root for this. I just don't know why Chauncey, if he knew about it, would risk everything he has. I expect this is for, some people who are not front facing, who are behind the scenes people to be doing shit like this. Not Chauncey Billups. But I ain't gonna lie. I can't hate the player.
Glasses and contact lenses that enabled players in on the scam to know what the victims' cards were, and other technology brought to bear. The victim, Shanae, had no chance at winning these games.
Damn.
They lost millions of dollars. And since the mob was involved, prosecutors say if the victims couldn't or wouldn't pay, that's when violence was used to make sure they did.
Thank you, Aaron, for providing this profound information and stopping by.
No profound shit. Them niggas are scamming.
The defendants fleeced the victims out of tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars per game. The defendants used a variety of very sophisticated cheating technologies, some of which were provided by other defendants in exchange for a share of the profits from the scheme. For example, they used off-the-shelf shuffling machines that had been secretly altered in order to read the cards in the deck, predict which player at the table had the best poker hand, and relay that information to an off-site operator. The off-site operator sent the information via cell phone back to a co-conspirator at the table, and that person at the table was known as the quarterback. The quarterback then signaled secretly.
By the way, I don't know if this is true, but they're claiming this is an example of like the glasses, and I guess it was a special card deck that was used. Look, they said when you put the glasses on. Oh wow! Holy shit! I need one of these. Yo, chat. So Amazon, I need this. Yo, I need this. If I could tell if the dealer got blackjack, if I could tell if, listen, the dealer got 2 10s under there, nigga, just cash out, nigga, surrender. What? Oh, nah, this is devious. It's a 3. No, this is fire. Wow. Nigga, I need this. I need this. Yo, chat, don't you hate a good scam before you get involved? Don't you hate a good scam getting exposed before you get caught up on it? Everybody tell you about the lick. I remember that DoorDash lick they had a while ago. They were like, yo, if you do this, you get it free. When I found out it's too late, I hate when I'm late to the party, bro. I hate when I'm late to the party. What? This shit existed? Ain't no fucking way. Somebody said, don't let 21 Savage see this shit. Nigga, he probably the one who gave it to Chauncey Billups. So is it something where they mark it with like maybe an invisible ink or something like that? They mark it with an invisible ink on the backside, and if you have those glasses on, you can see it. And then, yes, you're right, some Ocean 11 type shit. But here's the thing: if I'm at a table, and I know poker is a game where everybody, you want to read people's facial expressions, so it's kind of like normal that people might have glasses to throw you off that you can't read their facial expressions. You know what I mean? Because if you see somebody kind of jump like they have a good card, you might want to fold. But if you're there and 2 niggas always, like, say you've played a couple times and 2 niggas always wear glasses, and it's maybe the same type of glasses, nigga, I think at some point I'd be like, what the fuck is going on, right? My bad.
Information he had received from others to others at the table, and together they used that information in order to win their games and to cheat the victims. Defendants used other cheating technologies such as poker chip tray analyzers, which is a poker chip tray that secretly reads cards using a hidden camera, special contact lenses or eyeglasses that could read pre-marked cards, and an X-ray table that could read cards face down on the table. What you see depicted on the screen right now is an example of the X-ray table that reveals the cards. Although they are face down on the table, they can be read because of the X-ray technology. The Mafia, specifically members and associates of the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese organized crime families, had pre-existing control over non-rigged, illegal poker games around New York City. As a result, they also became involved in the rigged poker games, helping to organize the games and taking a cut of the proceedings, and working to enforce the collection of debts. The defendants laundered their proceeds, including through cash exchanges, the use of multiple shell companies, and through cryptocurrency transfers. As part of the scheme, some of the defendants and their co-conspirators also committed acts of violence, including the gunpoint robbery of a person in order to obtain a rigged shuffling machine, and extortions that were perpetrated against victims in order to ensure that they repaid their gambling debts. Wow. Defendants who participated in the rigged poker scheme are charged with wire fraud conspiracy. Other defendants have been charged with crimes including illegal gambling, money laundering, Hobbs Act robbery, and extortions. This case demonstrates our office's unrelenting commitment to fighting the scourge of organized crime in whatever form it takes. I'd like to conclude my remarks by thanking the incredible hard work of our law enforcement partners, including the FBI, Homeland Security, the NYPD, and the Waterfront Commission. I also want to thank the dedicated prosecutors who built these two cases in Corona, All
right. Also, reportedly, this affected LeBron, too. Apparently, LeBron was injured. One of his friends knew he was injured and he wasn't going to play in the game, but it wasn't announced publicly yet. And one of his friends either sold the info or gave the info to, or was pressured to give the info to one of these people in this ring, and they used it to basically bet against the Lakers. So they were like, oh, LeBron's not playing tonight. The Lakers finna get their ass whipped. They made the bet. Wow, that's kind of crazy. That is fucking crazy. Now, a lot of people were saying, yo, Gilbert, you ain't low, nigga. You fucking told. And he responded, I think on his podcast. What did he say? I think, where is it?
I'm good for all the trolling. That's cool, but Rachel Nichols is foul.
What did Rachel Nichols do, Gil?
She used my video and she actually wrote that I possibly snitched.
Oh, not Rachel.
Listen, I'm going to troll with the best of them. But to ask that question,
no, she didn't do that.
Because then it makes me really want to, first of all, two of them niggas is gambling on NBA. One is throwing poker games and robbing his friends. Ain't got shit to do with me.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to tell on this nigga. Wow, I'm going to tell on him. You know what I mean? My case is all a whole bunch of Igors and Igors. Right? And I don't like this, what's going on. I see the word mafia.
Yeah.
But the only faces I see is Negroes.
Yeah.
That is true.
Not Crenshaw Mafia.
NBA. You know what I mean? It's NBA, wait a minute. Hold on, man.
How the hell did the NBA link up with the mafia? NBA players link up with the fucking mafia? What the hell's going on?
What's
That's
going on
crazy.
here? Y'all, what y'all going? What the NBA do to y'all?
Brother
man?
polite. Brother. That's
I had
the
to think
brother
about it.
knowledge.
It's mafia, but it's just local.
You've
Local
been
black.
around brother knowledge.
You've been around
brother. Been around brother
The
knowledge.
international crime bosses, blacks. Right. Okay.
You need a face.
They don't got jumpers.
You need a face.
You need a
They don't got jumpers.
None of them gave Kobe
Like I'm gonna
60
sit like, look, I
You seen them face.
Okay. Now, there are some examples of supposedly some of this rigged behavior. Okay? This is one of the examples. Let me see if I can find it. So, Terry Rozier, this apparently, you know, he would tell people, yo, I'm about to have an under. You know what I mean? So, like, anytime, or like he'd be like, yo, I'm going to have 3 turnovers when it probably says the over or under is 1 or 2. And he would go there and do some stupid shit. So look at these plays, and you tell me if this looked like normal play. Now, granted, they're clipped up, so, you know, maybe there's a little bit of context loss. But a lot of people said that it's fucking blatantly clear this nigga was working. Check this out.
And the meter's still running, Richard.
That's him. Look, that's him. Look, he looks at this player, looks at his teammate. Look what he does. Look, he looks at him again. He just kind of loses the ball. Okay. Nigga hits a 3. He doesn't even contest the 3. Oh, wow. Here's another one. He's going through. Now, that could have been a actual pass because this guy, he jumped the route.
And he turned it over. Turn it up. But you don't want to play with your team, especially against the Miami Heat. I can tell you, hey, you don't like playing in Miami?
It's an air ball. Oh, damn. Looked like he was trying his best either to score or miss. Maybe it was on attempts, right?
The ultimate teammates and sacrifice so much.
God damn.
Rozier on the show and go.
This thing is just ass.
Empty corner 2-man game. Rozier with a 3. Anderson with a rebound. Rozier relocates for another try. Boy, that was awfully.
Was he trying to miss it? Someone said all the FBI had to do was follow me on Twitter. I knew Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier were gambling years ago. Let's see what this nigga knew. Said Terry Rozier had no props listed all day. Was never listed on an injury report. His props get listed late, and then he plays the first quarter and is ruled out for the rest of the game. Surely nothing shady is going on. Chauncey Billups called a timeout to take his 2 best players out the game with 3 minutes left in a 5-point game. Never put him back in. You will never convince me some of these teams don't blatantly lose on purpose. Wow. God damn. Oh, niggas. Oh, shit. Oh, niggas think Malik Beasley's doing the same thing. Who else is in on this? Wait, they work for these niggas? Oh, these are the guy from the movie, right? They played the mobster movie. I be with the gang because they love me. This is him tweeting in 2016. Somebody says, yo, you got to make it look a little bit more believable when you're shaving points off games. Fed's going to get you, you fucking clown. Damn. They say this is Terry Rozier seeing Chauncey Billups pull up to the prison basketball court. Oh, man.
You switched up, stay on that side, man. Stop with Memphis over here. Memphis, yeah, you know what happened after every dub. Tell them 1-2 on that. Big.
Oh, shit. By the way, Ja is not involved in this. Ja just an NBA YoungBoy fan.
From those.
ESPN quietly removed their ESPN Bet logo during a segment on it. Yeah, I need some refunds.
Days are obviously long behind us. You hear a lot about legal sports gambling on this show. The Bussin' Boys, obviously sports gambling is a huge part of what you do, so we put those all out there as a preamble because it might be in the back of people's minds, and we acknowledge that this is a different time and place. However, there is a fine line, not so fine. There is a bold line that obviously has to be drawn. But it was
Terry Rozier had better send $200,000 to his house after cashing in on his unders the nigga makes $325,000 a game. God damn. He makes $325,000 a game? And he basically played like ass to get $200,000 more? And said Gilbert was snitching in that room, man. He said, bruh said, oh yeah, Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones. He got that Young Thug meal in there. Holy. Somebody said Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups arrested, but Shohei Ohtani walks free? Holy. Is this real? Nah, this ain't real. No way. Shaq reacting.
We all know the letter of the law when it comes to gambling and sports gambling, and I don't want to sit up here like I'm some perfect guy. Like every now and then when I go to Vegas, I'll play some craps and I'll play some roulette, but never gambled at anybody's house. Don't know anything about poker, so I don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the Chauncey thing. But I know
Shaq only guilty of tricking on 22-year-old girls. That's it. And that's not illegal. That is no crime. You might call him creepy, but you can't call him a criminal.
Chauncey, I know Damon very well, played with Damon, so I don't want to sit up here, but I'm ashamed that those guys would put their families and their careers in jeopardy. There's an old saying in the hood, all money ain't good money. So if you're making $9 million and you're dealing in certain things, like how much more do you need? Especially if you know you get caught, you can do jail time, lose your career. Mm-hmm. Put a bad image on.
Well, let's start looking at the jail time for this, right? So everybody who participated in this, the easy one to file, and usually it's a standard charge usually in a situation like this, it's called wire fraud. Wire fraud, federal sentencing guidelines. So basically in this sentencing guidelines, let's see. Okay, all right. So it carries a statutory maximum of 20 years. So that's the maximum they could get. And let me see, what is the minimum? I want the minimum. Minimum. Is there a mandatory minimum? There is no mandatory minimum. So they could get time served, or they could get a penalty up to $250,000 in fines. Give me 1 second. I don't want to stay on this topic too long, but I'll see if I could pull up the indictment. And if I get the indictment, actually, I think they have it on Twitter. I don't even got to search it on the government website. I don't even got to search it on the government website. Here we go. Got it. All right, so I think we got all the juicy details about all this shit. What is this? Damn, the FBI is going crazy. FBI just raided a popular Democrat and homelessness activist from Charlotte, Cedric Dean. He was running a healthcare fraud scheme. What? Oh, man, this is crazy. Okay, here we go. This is the indictment, right? So we got Chauncey Billups here. Anybody else we know? By the way, how come there's so many people on this indictment? Okay, we get it. We know Chauncey Billups, but I want to see who Zen Who is. Who's Zen Who? Where's Zen Who? Where's Horatio Who? Like, where are these motherfuckers? Why don't they get like the fucking perp walk, the embarrassment of their mugshot and their face on TV? What about these guys? Okay, we see Damon Jones. Who knows? Pookie. Okay. Sophie Way. There's a mad. I ain't gonna lie. There's mad Chinese people in this, but Chinese people usually be in a lot of gambling shit. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, so let me just kind of go and hear all the defendants. Okay. John Gallo, who's a member of the Gambino crime family. Wow. Wow. Shane Hennon, known as Sugar, was a resident of Pennsylvania, organized rigged games, provided cheating technology to other co-conspirators. Oh, so this is like a real thing. Damon Jones was a resident of Texas and a member of cheating teams. Josen Lonnie from Staten Island. That's where a lot of the mob niggas be living. From the Gambino crime family. Who else? Nicholas Minucci from the Gambino crime family. Angelo Ruggiero from the Gambino crime family. Some of them from Islip, New York. Okay. Wow. There's a lot of people up in this junk. Okay. So let me just kind of go down the charges. Well, actually, I could, Sean C. Let me see what Sean C was doing. Okay, so Sean C and Damon Jones were former basketball players who are both former basketball players. One's a current head coach, or was, right? They were face card and members of the cheating teams. At the rig game, the members of the cheating teams, including the defendants and the co-conspirators, used card shuffling machines that were purportedly randomly shuffling the playing cards to ensure fairness. However, the rigged shuffling machine were secretly altered to use concealed technology to read the cards in the deck, to predict which player at the table had the best poker hand, and relay the information via interstate wires to a off-site reporter. What the fuck? The operator communicated that information by cellular technology to the member of the cheating team seated at the table, referred to as a quarterback. So wait, I guess they were looking at their phone type shit, right? Who use secret signaling. So I guess one guy would be the quarterback. He gets the card machine, reads the cards, sends a signal to like somebody in a remote place, says, yo, seat 5 has the best hand. They then communicate with the quarterback at the table, and he signals, and I guess he's probably go like this or something. Like maybe this is, you know how they do in baseball? It might be like, this is 1. It might be like, this is 2, this is 3. And it means, and I guess you're signaling to your other teammates who has the best hand, right? The operator communicated whatever, and they used secret signaling to share the information with the other members of the cheating teams playing the rigged games. The information was used from the quarterback to defraud victims who thought they were playing straight illegal poker games. What? They were playing. It was still illegal. Whatever. Okay. Anything else? Okay, they got the rigged machine from Shroud, and Chauncey got one too. And then this is okay. So count 1 is wire fraud. That carries 20 years, right? Count 1 is wire fraud. Count 2 is operating an illegal gambling business. Now I think this carries like 5 or 10. I don't think it's like a huge charge. So, but we'll see. Let's see how much. Yeah, up to 5 years per count. Yeah, up to 5 years. So illegal. Shit, my bad. Let's just look through. I think it's 5 years. I just seen 5 years. It says 5 years here. It says federal. Oh yeah, I can't see it. Sorry. Up to 5 years per count. So they're facing 20. Let's just think about the big charge. So wire fraud, they're facing 20. This would fold, if they get found guilty of this, they'll fold up onto the other one. What's count 3? Operating an illegal gambling business. That's kind of like the same thing, right? Okay, so it's just a separate count for other people. Okay. And then count 4 is money laundering conspiracy. How much does that carry? Money laundering conspiracy sentencing guidelines federal. And that carries up to 20 years. So they're still facing 20. So really, pretty much they're going to be facing 20. And I think there's a count 5, Hobbs Act extortion conspiracy. I don't think this carries life either. Hobbs Act, extortion, conspiracy, federal sentencing guidelines. This carries, let's see. How many years? Okay, maximum is still 20 years. So they're pretty much facing 20 years. Count 6, same thing. Count 7, same thing. So unless, and by the way, it looks like I don't think any of these would be like the basketball players. It look like they robbed some people, right? Or like they forced them to pay or they extorted them. And yeah. Okay. All right. So these guys are facing 20 years. I would imagine that because they're not facing life, and this is kind of how it works in federal court, just because federal court, it's, they usually have non-bondable offenses, and obviously it depends on your criminal rap sheet. Like, for example, Dirk, murder for hire, they're never giving him a bond, ever. They won't give him a bond, right? Because the mandatory minimum sentence is life. So why would we give you a bond that if you blow trial, you're not getting out? And in reality, you don't have that much incentive to show up to court because you're facing life, right? So you might decide to run. So these guys are going to get a bond. They're going to get a bond. Okay. All right.